Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a blessed Sunday. And in the news this morning, 18-year-old charged following Kingston 6 triple murder. Detectives assigned to the Major Investigations Division have charged the 18-year-old Richard Jonas, otherwise called the Monkey Man, and Jelani, a carpenter of Moonlight Drive, Queensboro, Kingston 19, with several offenses following a triple murder along Windward Road, Kingston 6. The reported attack took place on Monday, May 13, the police said in a release. The deceased are 23-year-old Sabian Clark of Windward Road, 20-year-old Troy Dennis of Wellington Street, Kingston 6, and 15-year-old Marquis Morgan of Lloyd Road, Kingston 6. Reports indicate that about 3:10 p.m., the men were gathered in a yard when armed men alighted from a motor car and opened gunfire, hitting them. The men were assisted to the hospital where they were pronounced dead. The police said Jonas, who was positively identified as one of 5 of the armed men, will stand before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday, June 28, to answer to the offenses of murder, 3 counts, wounding with intent, possession of prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and the conspiracy to commit murder, 3 counts. Missing Haitian adults returned to Jacob's Ladder, still no sign of disabled orphan boy. As mysteriously as they vanished 13 days prior from Jacob's Ladder, the Mustard Seed Community's home in St. Anne, caring for Haitian orphans, 10 Haitian adults returned to the facility on Friday morning. However, a hydrocephalic orphan boy who underwent surgery and was discharged from the Boston Mattie Hospital for Children in late May under the care of one of the caregivers who had left remains missing. They all came back on Friday morning, dropped off at the gates of Jacob's Ladder from a vehicle. In the evening, somebody from the immigration authorities came and spoke with them, so I don't know what the next steps are, Mustard Seed Executive Director Father Garvin Augustine told the news on Saturday. We have not asked them to do anything because they were not caregivers in the first place. But I have to say they are all back minus the child, and the police have said to us that we should inform them when they return and they will handle it, he said on Saturday. Augustine said that last Thursday, when news emerged that the Haitians were missing, the police visited the facility, which is more than 3 kilometers off the main road at Haddon in St. Anne. The secluded home is accessed by a mall road, which was cut by Mustard Seed with the permission of local government officials in St. Anne, and the village is built on reclaimed bauxite lands. In March, it was reported that 59 severely disabled Haitian orphans and 14 adults who were said to be their caregivers arrived in the island. The children, who were under the care of Haiti Children, a non-profit that caters to abandoned, orphaned, and disabled children in Haiti, were received by Mustard Seed Communities and transported to Jacob's Ladder. They arrived in the island to get the necessary care in a safe environment in the wake of the upheaval in Haiti, Jamaica's eastern neighbor. Later, an additional 2 adults came, although Mustard Seed said they have been told they would have been 2 orphans. This brought the total number of Haitians being housed at Jacob's Ladder under the arrangement to 75. On Saturday, June 8, 10 of the adults left Jacob's Ladder with their luggage and other personal items for an undisclosed location in the company of a woman whose name was documented in security records at the gate as Cheryl Ritchie. The group failed to make contact with Jacob's Ladder since then, triggering the alarm. Augustine said that none of the returned adults have explained their absence from the facility and the operators have not questioned them. We have been advised by the police not to interrogate them or ask anything. They have made it clear that it is a police matter and it's to be left to them. When the police came on Thursday, they spoke with those who remained. We don't know what is the nature of the conversation, but I can say those who have returned are far more cooperative, but they are not caregivers, the Mustard Seed Executive Director stressed. Some have previously said that they did not want to continue being associated with the children. Augustine dismissed the suggestions that the Haitians were not missing but were on a week-off rotation a claim made by one of the spokespersons for Haiti children in a radio interview last Thursday. There is no week on, week off rotation here. We have shifted systems where people work their shifts. If that was the case, we should have had a knowledge of their whereabouts when they are not there, especially as their immigration status would be of concern to us. Their immigration status is to be reviewed, he explained. The 90-day permission for the initial 14 adults to remain in the island expired last Wednesday. The orphaned boy was discharged from the hospital into the custody of Christo Romain. He took him to the hospital and he was discharged in his care. We are not getting involved because the Child Protection and the Family Services Agency has told us it is a police matter and there is nothing more we can do about that in terms of finding the child, he added. The CPFSA did not respond to questions from the news in time for publication. Labor Minister Pernell Charles Jr. said that the Haitian adults were not given work permits but were admitted on humanitarian grounds. He told the news that their immigration status is the remit of the Ministry of National Security. Multiple attempts by the news to reach National Security Minister Dr. Harris Chang were unsuccessful, and the questions sent to the ministry were also not answered up to press time. Haiti children founder twice denied entry to Jamaica. Susie Krabacher, the founder of the Haiti Children nonprofit catering to orphans in Haiti, was twice flagged by Jamaican immigration authorities in the last 4 weeks and denied entry to the island. She first arrived at the Ian Fleming International Airport in Boscobel, St. Mary a few weeks ago and was denied a landing. Days later, she again attempted to enter the island from Kingston's Norman Manley International Airport but was again denied entry. The news sources say that immigration officials at Ian Fleming became concerned after her behavior, which was described as distressed and erratic, reportedly caught their attention and she was eventually put in restraints. When I saw the pictures, my heart sank and I asked that care be given. That was at the Ian Fleming International Airport, a highly placed source told the news. Someone called me and I made some calls and that's how I became involved. The authorities kept her overnight and sent her back the next day on the first available flight. So I was called and I made some calls offering sympathy and urgent care. The reason for a second denial days later at NMIA is unclear. According to Haiti Children's website, the organization began in 1994 when Krabacher made her first trip to Haiti and began helping the people of Sicily. It says that the non-profit organization provides care and education to abandoned, orphaned, and disabled children in Haiti, and the list is addressed as Carbondale, Colorado in the United States. Our organization has raised and invested over $40 million in Haiti, a unique endeavor catering to children with disabilities. Unfortunately, the government lacks the financial resources to care for these children, and most orphanages funded by foreign aid only accept perfect children who are more desirable for outward adoption, reads a section of the site. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.